Do whales have a special meaning for Icelandic culture?
Definitely. There's a few ways that Icelanders have respected whales for a very long time.
This is the first time in 17 years that Iceland haven't done any whaling, but there is no certainty that they will continue in the future. We are heading for the whaling station 72 kilometers from Reykjavik. Now deserted, it is estimated that 2 million whales were landed here for slaughter and processing. But now there is no more whaling and a new industry has arisen to take its place: whale watching.
Whaling by Icelanders commercially really started after World War II. It was a way to get money, economy into the country. But times have changed now. Whale watching began here around 1995 and has increased exponentially. And definitely there's a lot more money coming into the country whale watching than whaling.
Sighting of whales in this winter northern water is a variety of gambling. It's like seeing gold dust. You have to get lucky. If you don't, that's just nature.
We never know. Sometimes we see nothing, sometimes we see minkies and dolphins. You know, it's nature.
Animals, maybe too close and too personal. If you see them falling into the water, just shout as loud and as clear as you can, "Man overboard!" Keep your eyes and your fingers pointed at that person in the water at all times until they're safely back on board the boat. And if you happen to be standing near one of the orange life rings, like this one beside me here, then please don't wait. Just pick it up off the railing and then throw it like a frisbee into the water near the person.
I think if I get the chance to see the whale, I would feel more familiar with whales, but now I don't really have the chance. But by hearing the MC, or I don't know whatever she's called, say about that, I feel like all of us have a responsibility to protect our environment.
Whale watching can be disappointed, so to make sure that the tourists get a rich experience, the company runs a harborside museum. Whale watching helps protect whales. Tourists realize the importance of continuing existence of this clever animal for the good of the planet.
I'm the head guide here at Whales of Iceland and also at the whale watching company Special Tours. Puts me in a unique position to be speaking to just thousands and thousands of people every year. And that gives us a good opportunity to raise awareness of different conservation issues. And it's more than just going out and pointing out the animals on a boat or bringing them around here and teaching them all about the different animals that have been seen around the country. It's also a way of teaching people.
And next up we'll have here our orca, or the killer whale, and it's actually a dolphin. It's in the dolphin family. Their eyes are here, and the patch that it's used for predators. So when they're attacking their prey, instead of their prey attacking their eyes, they would hit this part here. So it would protect them from that.
That also extends on the boats. We not only teach people about the animals themselves, but also raise awareness of issues like climate change and pollution and whaling and other aspects like that, and noise pollution, which we also highlight, especially here at the exhibition. And so just really an outlet for education is I would say, the main part of what we do here. Well, the whaling station that's used today in this part of Iceland is run by the company Hvalur, and that's the company that hunts fin whales in Iceland, which they use to process the whales that they hunt when they're out at sea. So they go out on their ships, they hunt the whales, usually between 1 and 4 at a time, and then they tie the whales to the side of their ship, and then they drag them into the whale fjord and then into the whaling station, where they then process all the whale whole there on land.
Nowadays, Iceland is an international banking and conference center, situated between America and Europe. It's a convenient center for transport exchanges, trade, and ideas. But once its isolation meant its customs and folklore were unique. Eating whales was normal, and the creatures provide heating and lighting, as well as food. Nowadays, they hardly eat whale meat, but some restaurants continue the tradition, mainly for the tourists.
What are you eating?
Whale meat.
So that like you went to whale watching
Yes.
and then came to eat the whale?
I've been here 15 years, and I would say I've had bad feedback like maybe 3 times in all these 15 years. A lot of people say like, oh, I feel so guilty, but I still want to try it. I think that's the worst that I hear.
Any reason for you to start doing this business of selling whale meat? Because this issue is always controversial in this area.
It's very controversial, I know. I wouldn't say that it was very important. I mean, we do it because a lot of tourists, they really want to try it. But if something would have happened and we had to stop selling whales, it wouldn't be so important.
Whale watching companies and also here at Whales of Iceland, we are trying to raise awareness of whaling and how it is really just a dying practice. It's something that isn't really done for locals anymore. And so we do ask people to sign petitions to say that they're not contributing to whale meat demand. And so overall, that probably is contributing something. But it is also just because it's becoming less in demand from locals as well, because the number of people eating whale meat these days is lower than it was in the previous years. And so that's just because of perhaps more availability of better things to eat. More globalization means it's easier to get food like lamb and chicken and beef and fish, which are all much more popular than whale meat, all of those things in Iceland. If there is the demand going down for whale meat, then there would be no need to have a supply. And so if the demand stops, then whaling stops as well.
There always been debating the negative side of whale watching since the practice began.
Whale watching, if boats increase, if there's a lot of boats around the animals, then of course that can cause an impact. Also, how you approach the animals have an impact. So that is why we always abide by a code of conduct and how we behave around animals that we see to minimize our impact. And that's limiting boats, limiting speed, also how you approach them, what angle you approach them. So yes, there's of course always disturbances, and we try to minimize that as much as possible.
Here in Reykjavik, there are several whale watching companies which operate just right from the harbor, about a 5-minute drive away from here. And the thing is, they go out into a bay just off the coast, a bay of Faxaflói. It's the largest bay in Iceland, but that's actually where a lot of the whaling has been conducted as well. So whale watching and whaling have existed in the exact same bay, which means that many of the whales that we search for on the tours, mainly minke whales, they're also at risk of being hunted. And so there is this kind of competition there, which makes things very, it's a bit sad, honestly, because it's certainly possible and maybe even a fact that the whales that we see one day on the tours could be or may have already been hunted.
Beauty and sadness go together. The landscape is wild and the climate harsh, but mankind has clung to it. Now the awareness of the fragility of our relationship with the planet is clear. The deer in the forest, the whale in the ocean, are all under threat if we don't immediately change what we do. Like the Icelanders, love the whales, don't kill them. They have changed, and the rest of us must change as well.